I put my mind to it. Then I got my pen and put my grind to it. Never easy, it was hard from the get-go. Start my obstacles, jazzy.
So you are the first, but definitely not the last, openly trans state senator in the United States. Is your identity the least interesting thing about your time in office so far?
I don't know that it's the least interesting, but it's definitely not the most interesting. Look, I think I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my identity. It is important that we have diversity in government. I firmly believe that diversity in government is not a luxury and it's not irrelevant. It is a necessity in a healthy democracy because you can't craft effective solutions for diverse communities if you don't have the full diversity of those communities represented at the table. And so I am proud of who I am. I think my transness has enhanced, has made me a stronger, better person. But it's certainly not the most interesting thing about me. And it's certainly not something I think about most days as I'm going about this work. I'm thinking about how do I do right by all of my constituents? How do I make progress on all of the issues that I've been working on that my colleagues are working on? My identity influences how I think about those things. My experiences around my identity influence how I think about those things. But I think my hope is that down the road, trans legislators are no longer newsworthy or noteworthy. They are just the norm. That it's not a headline or history when a trans person gets elected to state legislatures. My hope is that though we don't mistake that progress, or my hope is that we don't take that progress and then believe that it doesn't matter at all. Because who we are matters. The perspectives and the experiences and the identities we bring to the table enhance the conversation. And so, I think in summary, what I said at the start is what I'd say now, which is that my identity is not the least interesting thing, but it's definitely not the most interesting thing.
Wow. So I just want like a follow-up question. What do you think, or what has been the most interesting thing that is sort of, I guess, that you've seen that you wouldn't have expected to see when you sort of stepped into this role?
Say that last part again.
Yeah. What was the most interesting thing that you have seen when you stepped into this role as state senator?
I think for me, the most interesting thing, the thing that left me so profoundly moved when I stepped into this role is the capacity to bring about meaningful change. I'll never forget, even though we were over Zoom at the start of my time in the legislature, how powerful it felt voting for the $15 minimum wage, for a massive investment in our public schools. Each vote, each time I said yes, I could feel the change and the impact. And so sometimes I actually just become emotional, walking around the district or just getting ready in the morning, thinking about the day ahead and the possibility for progress that's before me and before us in this role.
Wow. You just keep making me realize I'm talking from like a younger perspective, but you are very young for this role, And I remember, just talking off of a sort of a personal note, I remember when last year I was a freshman at the St. Andrews School in Delaware. And I remember I was scrolling through Instagram after the election and seeing all of these new people that were elected. And I think it was Human Rights Campaign Instagram, and you popped up and I was like, who's this? I was like, who's this? And I was scrolling and I saw Sarah McBride, first openly transgender state senator from Delaware. And I was like, I'm in Delaware right now. That's crazy. And so I sort of went around because, I'm very, I guess you wouldn't know, but I'm very intrigued and, interested in politics and the world around me. And so seeing that just anyone, even if I can't relate to them off of my own identity, seeing people make it from a place where they wouldn't have expected that they could even do this, that was so just inspiring to me. So seeing you along with all those other people and all those other folks that were elected at that time, just, it made me proud to be an American, because it made me proud to see that America has come far enough that this is something that can happen, especially even though it's been so long. And of course it should have happened before. Just seeing that I'm also living through all these things that are happening. I get to see this happen, and I get to see the change that you make. So that's just amazing. And that's what you're making me think about right now. So
I put my mind to it, then I got my pen and put my grind to it.